I think we changed our defensive assignment of Michael with Gary, and he's a little more aggressive on him, and I think defensively we were more aggressive. Offensively, we wanted to play a little crazier. You know, we have been hesitating so much, and that's not our personality. Tonight we made some lucky threes, but at least we got into a rhythm of the game that was beneficial to us.
Now, you had said before the game that this team had responded all year long. They responded when they were up against the wall coming out of that Sacramento series. They responded against Utah. Was there any doubt in your mind that this team did not have this type of performance in them?
You know, Chicago's a great basketball team, but my team is a very good basketball team, and I never ever thought that we would not play tonight.
The lift of Nate McMillan coming back from the injury. Can you talk about how he lifted this crowd and your team with a couple big three-pointers?
Do I have to talk about it? If you watch the game, you know what Nate McMillan means to us.
And he meant an awful lot tonight. Brokowski coming in, also a big issue tonight when you replaced him, Irvin Johnson on the bench. Tell us about that.
Well, Frank gave us a little more toughness. I thought he rebounded the ball and has a little more experience, that's all. But, you know, Sean and Sam and Gary were great. Hawk had a big night for us. I mean, we just played a smart basketball game. I don't think there was any great X and O's out there.
11 points in the second quarter by the Bulls. An awesome defensive performance. Do you look back now with any regret in the first three games that was missing?
Well, I think in all three games we had situations where we played good defense. We'd always have that 5 or 6 minute hole where we wouldn't.
What do you do now for Friday night? How do you repeat this performance?
Well, you know, anytime you win a game, I think you can always build upon it. I think this team can win Friday night.
George, thanks for taking the time with us. Congratulations. All right, back upstairs to you, Bob Costas.
All right, Jim, George, thanks a lot. No matter what happens the rest of the way in this series, this victory tonight is so important for the Seattle SuperSonics in terms of how they view this season and how they go into the offseason. No matter what happens, as I said, commencing with Game 5 on Friday. Gary Payton, 21 points, 11 assists. He had only 18 total assists in the first 3 games of this series, 11 assists tonight. You know, I knew Hannah Storm had spoken with somebody after the game. It turns out it was Gary Payton. Here it is.
Thanks, Bob. Here with Gary Payton. Gary, how did you guys get back to playing Sonics basketball in this game, really for the first time in the series?
I think we took care of the ball a little bit better. I think we rebounded the ball better, and then we hit shots. That's a big key for us. We got to hit shots and get our confidence up, and then our defense took over after that.
Defensively, you started on Michael Jordan for the first time in the series, playing him on defense, and you guys were very effective against him today. What was the key?
Well, I think me moving around, trying to make it hard for him to get the ball. But, you know, we made him take a lot of tough shots that he normally make. He didn't make tonight. And then we just kept the pressure on him. And, you know, good thing he was off tonight.
Offensively, you managed to have perhaps your best game in the series. How much of that had to do with the improved ball movement, Nate McMillan being in the game? What was it? I
think it was Nate McMillan being in the game. When he got in the game, he got me on the curls. He got me to move with Mike. You know, I can't just sit around and stand and let go to the basket and have crowds. If I keep moving like I was doing and getting open shots like that, I think Nate is a big part of that.
Do you think that the Bulls were off tonight, or was it the way that you played, and what do you expect for Game 5?
Well, they're going to come out a little bit more aggressive. They're going to go look out videotape and see what we did tonight. But I think we came out and played our game. That's what we had to do. We hit shots and played defense, and I think I credit our team for that.
What does this do for the confidence of your team, which frankly was at a very low ebb coming into tonight's game?
Well, this gives us a lot of confidence. We know we can beat this team now. We just got to stick and do what we have to do. Protect the ball, rebound, and play defense. And we knew our offense was going to come, so we were fine right now.
After beating them in this decisive fashion, do you feel that there is a way that you could beat them 3 more games in this series?
Well, we feel good. We can win games. I mean, anything can happen. We're going to take one game at a time. We're going to try to go and get Game 5 on Friday, and then try to take it back to Chicago and see what happens.
Okay, nice effort by you and your teammates tonight, Gary.
Thank you.
Bob?
All right, Hannah. Well, Doc, they had 72 hours to think about it. Not only staring at a sweep, but they had been embarrassed on their home floor, where prior to Sunday they had been 44-5 for the year. And they make a statement tonight. As I said, no matter how this series winds up, even if the Bulls should win Game 5, this changes everything in terms of how Seattle feels about itself.
It really does, Bob. You know, I've been here for the last 72 hours, and I don't know if anybody in Seattle believed that the Sonics could come back and win even a game, which is a very low standard for a club that had such an excellent regular season and playoff run. The extra motivation, I think, came from the talk about getting swept, and also the announcements of the PSA spot that the Chicago Bulls did, talking about celebrate with dignity in Chicago, referring to after the sweep on Wednesday night.
How do you view Game 5? I realize it's still going to take a while for this to sink in, but how do you view Game 5, Pete?
Well, I think that tonight they won it for self-respect, they won it for pride, they won it for heart, they won it for the fans. I think Game 5 they're going to have to win it for NBC or the concessionaires. But I think if you believe in omens, I think this game turned around tonight. They talked about defense, they talked about hitting their outside shots, but Dennis Rodman was taken out of the game almost immediately by the refs when they called that technical foul on him. Michael Jordan had a technical foul called on him early, so they had the calls going for him in this game also.
Dennis Rodman had 8 points and 14 rebounds, but significantly only 4 rebounds in the first half when the Sonics seized control of the game. A short while ago, he spoke with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Dennis, you guys missed a lot of open shots, but you got to give credit to Seattle. They played very well tonight.
Well, I give credit where credit is due, but I got to find out where I got to give it to. So, we played like, you can't play no worse than that. But they hit all the big shots. When you got a ball that's slipping out of your hand and all of a sudden throw it up at 3 points, hey, it's still a day. So, tip off our hats to Seattle. But if we was on tonight, we would have won, but give them credit.
You don't feel like you came to this game a little bit overconfident, up 3-0.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's only one game. Only one game. We got to come back Friday. That's what this business is all about. Give people some enjoyment, some excitement, go home, and hopefully that'll be all right.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, Ahmad and Dennis. Dennis, it was widely thought, had gotten into the heads of the Sonics earlier in the series, especially Game 3. You think that had actually happened?
Well, yes, it definitely happened. There was a psychological advantage that Dennis had gained, but I think starting Brickowski tonight made a difference because, threw Dennis off stride. He was out there with a player who was very physical with him, wasn't backing down, and didn't pick up the 3 fouls and had to be taken out of the game. The long layoff might have hurt Dennis. He's been very busy the last 3 days doing interviews, and, I think
hanging with
a little too much time off. And now, since they're going to play on Friday, it's only 48 hours. The Bulls will return to form.
So are you saying that you don't want Dennis to have extended time on his own recognizance? Is that the idea?
Seattle's a sleepy city, but Dennis has managed to wake the place up. That's for sure.
Pete, a quick thought on this before we go to Hersey Hawkins?
3 times not good for any of us, but I think, we talked about George Karl, what he did with Gary Payton. I don't think I've ever seen a coach at this stage go away from 2 players like George Karl did from Irvin Johnson and Vincent Askew, and he brought in Brickowski and Wingate in this game, and I think both moves were very pivotal in this victory.
Had to shake it up, no question about it. Hersey Hawkins had a big game, 18 points. He shot 6 of 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, and then he spoke with Hannah Storm about a job well done.
Thanks, Bob. Here with Hersey Hawkins, who was part of the very effective 3-guard alignment at times in the game. Dave McMillan, besides being an inspirational force coming back into the game, what did he allow you guys to do offensively with his presence?
Well, I think, first of all, he allowed Gary to move over to the 2-guard position, and allowed him to roam around a little, and I think you saw they were able to get a couple of back-cut layups, and it moves Nate to the point guard position where he's most comfortable. He passes the ball well, and, he plays great defense for us.
How did you guys manage such a complete reversal from Game 3?
I think we were probably ashamed, maybe a little embarrassed by the way we played the other night. I think our team has shown a lot of character and a lot of class all year long. When we played horrible games, we've been able to bounce back and, play a good game. And, we wanted to prove to ourselves foremost that we can beat that team. And now we got to go out there Friday night and hopefully push the series back to Chicago.
Is it possible, too, that some of the pressure was off? No one expected you to win. They were already preparing for the championship ceremony.
Oh, of course. I guess you can tell them don't sell the shirts in Chicago yet. I know they already have the shirts, but, I think, we feel all along that if we just go out and play intense defense and, get the running and play Sonic basketball, that we can beat that team. And, I think once you get them down, they don't play as loose as they do, when they're 15, 20 points ahead. So, if we can come out Friday night with the same type of intensity, we still have our backs against the wall. They're still loose, but, I think we're still playing for nothing also. So, we can go out and play loose, have fun, and hopefully another result like this.
Regardless of what happens, they will always be considered one of the best teams in basketball history, and thus one does not expect them to play back-to-back poor games. So what do you look for in Game 5?
Well, they will definitely come out intense. I think it all starts with Michael Jordan. He will definitely not allow them to come out and play a flat game like they did tonight. So it's going to be up to us to, of course, raise our level of play and to match theirs and, hopefully even surpass that. So, we understand that they're a championship caliber team. They have a lot of heart. They have a lot of courage. They didn't win 72 games for nothing, but, we didn't win 64 games for anything. And our goal now is to get this series back to Chicago and hopefully put a little pressure on them.
Okay, thanks, Hersey, for joining us.
All right, thanks, Hannah.
Bob?
All right, Hannah, Michael Jordan, for the record, matching his number with 23 points, but not matching his standard of play. 6 of 19 from the field, didn't hit a three-pointer, got many of his points at the free throw line, where he was 11 of 13. And look at the numbers on Scottie Pippen. Didn't get to the line at all, didn't attempt a free throw. 9 points in the game, 1 for 8 on three-pointers, 4 for 17 overall. So while he and Michael were having their troubles, Pete, Sam Perkins was one of the guys who was heating it up for the Sonics.
That's right. I want to talk about that other North Carolina player who had 17 points. And I think the key here, again, with George Karl starting Brakowski at center, it allowed Perkins to play less minutes because he hasn't been giving Irvin Johnson that kind of time. So he comes in and gets 17 points. He's very fresh. The bench outscores the Bulls 29-18.
Let's take a look at some of the statistical story of the game. We've already given you some individual figures. Look at Sean Kemp, 12 for 17, but 8 for 8 in the second half as he scores 25 points. He also pulls in 11 rebounds. Brakowski doesn't score, but he was a presence in a certain sense. Peyton, as we told you, 21 points, also in double figures with assists. And Sam Perkins' play was just discussed by Peter Vesey. Nate McMillan off the bench. Many people did not expect him to play the rest of the way, and he gritted it out, and through clenched teeth, he scored 8 points and really electrified the arena when he came into the game because it kind of symbolized the spirit with which the Sonics approached this contest. Speaking of Nate McMillan, even as we were talking about him, Hannah Storm was lining him up for an interview. Here they are live.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Nate just got out of the treatment room. First of all, how are you feeling right now?
It tightened up on me going into the end of the second quarter, and it got a little stiff, and I was able to play a few minutes going into the third quarter, and it started tightening up, but I would have been available if George would have needed me.
Well, obviously he didn't, and part of the reason was you helped your team have a tremendous second quarter. Your presence in the game was huge. Can you tell us your thinking, having not played in games 2 and 3, to come in and play in game 4?
Well, the thing was, I was thinking a lot of times players just start to do things a little different when they see you in the game uniform instead of in a nice suit on the sidelines. And I wanted to dress out. I didn't know how much I would be able to play, but I wanted to just give what I could. And things did feel a little bit better tonight. I was able to go a little longer and add some to the team, free up Gary a little bit and allow him to get out in the open court and do his thing. So the minutes was there. I was able to relieve some guys, but I think the biggest thing is just the fact that I dressed out. The guys sort of got a little bit more confident in the locker room and felt a little bit more comfortable with me in the uniform.
We have sort of casually referred to your injury as a back injury. If you could, for our audience at home, explain exactly what is wrong with you and what makes it so difficult for you to get out there and play as you used to.
Well, it is the back. It is coming from the back, but it's the sciatic nerve that's running down my left hamstring that's causing me. Anytime I try and sprint, that's the problem that I'm having. If we would play 3-on-3 or a half-court game, I would be cool. But getting up and down the floor, jumping, caused me a little problem. But the more I run, the more it seems to flare up and get a little bit more sore. So running, sprinting is the major thing that is slowing me down.
Now, what's your status for Game 5? Because you told me that you tweaked it a little bit at the end of the first half. I know you were stiff and sore in the second half. So when do you evaluate your status for the next game?
Well, we'll go in and we'll treat it tomorrow. We'll do some more stimulation, a lot of stretching, a lot of icing, some more massaging, and just see what happens. I don't know how things will be tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be a little bit sore tomorrow after running a little bit on it. I haven't played in a week or did any type of exercise in the last week, so I was a little winded. But I feel good. I feel better than I've felt in the previous games, and I think that's a good sign.
Okay, great. Nice inspirational effort by you to help your teammates tonight. Bob?
All right, Hannah, well, Phil Jackson has not had to reflect on a defeat since Game 3 of the second round against the Knicks. They have won 9 in a row since then, prior to tonight. And now here's Phil Jackson in the interview room. This is live as he talks to members of the press.
Fine game tonight. Everything that we did on Sunday, they matched in this game today. I thought they handled the double teams well off of the start of the game. They were able to move their shooters in three-point range. They were great from the three-point line. Even though we closed at the end of the first quarter, we had to use a lot of energy to get that closure. And started poorly in that second quarter and couldn't get ourselves going and put ourselves in a hole to go in at halftime. The energy level was great here tonight. Obviously, the home crowd gave them a big energy boost. We could never get the crowd out against Michael. They got some good calls, an offensive call. I thought the third quarter was a dramatic things that happened out there were defeating us, I thought, psychologically.
Up and down call and a double dribble call, and
I thought both those calls were incorrect, by the way. Those were bad calls, but it was just that way. The game was on edge, and the calls went their direction tonight, and that'll happen when a team's got the energy or has the
perspective. We told you about Jordan shooting 6 of 19. He got 11 of his points at the free throw line. Pippen was just 1 of 8 from three-point range. Rodman had 14 rebounds to go with the 8 points, but only 4 of those came in the first half when the game was still up for grabs. Longley, a decent night. Kukoc continues to perform well. Harper, not much of a contributor tonight. And the Bulls wind up losing this thing 107-86. And thus, Julius Erving, I can turn to you, and although you are always a gracious man, I know that smile indicates that your team's record is intact. The 1983 Philadelphia 76ers, who had a first-round bye under the format back then, went through 3 best-of-7 series, sweeping 2 and losing only 1 game. I think the Milwaukee Bucks beat you somewhere along the way. You swept the finals against the LA Lakers. So 12-1 is now assured of still being the best percentage, even if Chicago should win this in 5, the best percentage ever in NBA postseason history.
Well, I, like all basketball fans, love to see records broken, but you don't like to see your own broken. so the Sonics have done us a very solid favor tonight, me and the other 11 players on that 76er team and the coaches. And we just have to wait till next year and see if somebody can live up to Moses Malone's prediction of fo and maybe go through undefeated.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I think this is about the place where the commercial come, and we'll be right back.
They were really getting to us, bothering us on our shots, not really letting us get the good look. They were more energized than we were. They very active, beating us to the loose balls. Defensively, they came ready to play.
In that second quarter, the wheels just kind of came off there.
Yeah, it did. I mean, the start of the quarter, I was on the bench, and, they went to Perkins trying to take advantage of Bill inside, and it kind of jumped our defense up because we were more worried about Perkins inside and allowed them the opportunity to get some three-point looks, and it gave them opportunity to open the game up.
You said the Sonics entered the court more energized. Were you thinking it would be very easy to win tonight?
No, we didn't. I mean, this is a ball club that won 64 games, and we realized that it was going to be very difficult for us to come in and sweep them. We knew somewhere down the line that they were going to come out and challenge us a lot.
Denying the Bulls the sweep, extending us at least until Friday for Game 5 back here at the Key Arena. Let's go live to the interview room. Scottie Pippen is now facing the press. Let's look in on that.
Point range than in the previous games by far. What was the difference other than hot shooting?
Well, they really had out pretty good, and they got trapping didn't look that good today, and we were kind of scattered around, and guys like McMillan stepped in and made a couple big baskets. Perkins throws up one right before the buzzer. They got all the breaks today. They got all the calls to our degree, and we feel like that we didn't play a complete game. We didn't deserve to win.
Scottie, how do you approach Game 5? Do you just forget about this game, or do you not forget it and just remember everything that went wrong and try to turn the tables?
Well, we're going to forget about this game. I mean, this was a game that we really didn't feel like we deserved to lose. We turned the ball over. We didn't shoot very well. they did all the right things today. I think we go into the next game with the mindset that we got to play a lot better. We got to execute.
Scotty, all the talk about this being the best. Did that play any psychological games with you guys, or did you just ignore it?
Well, I feel like we ignored it. I mean, I know as players we knew what we had at stake tonight with a win. I'm sure the Sonics knew it, and they stepped up their play and they played very well tonight. I don't think there was anything that affected our play tonight. They just outplayed us.
All right, let's take a look at some lowlights from the perspective of Scottie Pippen and the Bulls. Highlights for the Sonics and their fans. No, not over until that self-proclaimed fat lady sings, and she hasn't sung yet. Sonics took their first lead in almost 6.5 quarters with Sean Kemp's inside move, 8-6 in the first. Still in the early going, Hersey Hawkins off the dribble. He connects, 15-8 Sonics, their biggest lead of the series to that point. Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan telling Tony Kukoc things are not going the Bulls' way here. Sonics by 4 after 1, early second. Michael Jordan will throw it away. Chicago, like Seattle earlier in the series, hurt by turnovers. Nate McMillan seeing his first action of the series, playing with the bad back, finding Gary Payton, 29-21 Sonics after that bucket. On the next sequence, Jordan will decide to double-team Sam Perkins, leaving Payton wide open for a 3. Seattle extends to a 13-point lead. The Sonics scored the first 11 points of the second quarter. Capped by this, off a Kukoc miss, Detlef Schrempf will go the other way. Uncontested, off the pass, 36-21 Seattle. Jordan and the Bulls clearly not enjoying it as the Sonics built their lead to 21 by halftime. Third quarter, Tony Kukoc brings the Bulls to within 14. They got as close as 13, but no closer. The Sonics keep their composure. Sean Kemp with a tremendous reverse dunk over Dennis Rodman, and then he'll have to hang there as Rodman wouldn't get out of the way. Next, McMillan drills a 3, making it 79-62 Seattle. Tremendous game for McMillan considering his severe back injury. Late in the game, more frustration from his airness, as Marv would say, not what the Bulls had in mind for Game 4 as they lose it. Oh, and we're going to Marv now. What a coincidence. Oh, marvelous.
Thank you, Bob. And you guys notice Bob completely, like Bill, changes his style on cable. Just a different guy. Our staff has worked up a little graphic, Bill, that we thought you might want to ponder as you take a look at the first 3 games of this series. Point differential for Seattle, a -14, averaging only 13 assists per game, shooting just under 42%, only 25% from three-point territory. But tonight, a far different story.
Marv, it's just so nice to see a game where the Sonics can talk about something other than just their free throw shooting. They play so much better when they're in a desperate situation, and they certainly are right now. They threw away all that overcoaching stuff. They got back to just playing basic basketball. Payton and Sean Kemp were tremendous in all aspects of the game. Kemp destroyed whoever guarded him underneath. Gary Payton was magnificent. I think Game 5 now is wide open.
All right, and Matt, as you look at what the Bulls did or did not do tonight, I'm sure Phil Jackson will start with the defensive performance.
Well, the defense has been so good throughout the series, but the pressure was not there. The intensity wasn't there. Consequently, Seattle winds up shooting 56% from the field. Chicago threw the ball way too many.
I think we're better off, but I think we came into the game with to shoot the ball, regardless if it goes in or not mentality, and it worked out fine. I think the guys stepped in, Des shot the ball better.
Technicals and the way the game was called, and this was late in the game when Michael had been already on the bench, and that was as a result of telling Joe Crawford he felt that his early technical foul call on Dennis Rodman was wrong. He felt that Joe Crawford came in with an agenda, and it was not right for this particular setting.
And one of those most unusual nights for Michael Jordan. Shot 6 of 19 from the field, and for the Chicago Bulls, it is only their second road loss in 4 NBA final series. Back to Bob.
Marv, Bill, Matt, thanks a lot. Sean Kemp has now had big games in 3 of the 4 contests. Tonight, 25 points, 11 rebounds. Moments ago, he was in the interview room.
A lot of times when you play in a series, anytime that you play basketball, you have your back to the wall. And we try to set some more picks and stuff like that to, maybe try to tire them out a little bit. But other than that, we try to stick to the same things out there. I thought Gary was a lot more aggressive. Fast break, just being aggressive on defense, on traps, and on every decision. I think we're aggressive, and it paid off.
said, yeah, speak up, I can't hear you.
What kind of difference did Nate McMillan make for your team tonight?
Well, I think anytime Nate's on the court, I think he helps us out. May not necessarily come from his play, but I think just to see his body out there, to see his face, it's a good emotional lift, not only for myself, but for the rest of the guys. I think he helps Gary out in a number of ways, with him, his intensity out there on the court, making sure he's... Not necessarily. I think, it's been a physical series always from the start of the game. The thing that you want to do, you always want to come in.
Correct. I think Joey Crawford did come in trying to show Dennis Rodman that he was in charge of this game.
Doc, I don't know about you, but I only had enough clean laundry to carry me through tomorrow. Got to send out the valet now.
Well, I'm all set, but looking ahead to Friday, I think the Sonics will stay at this level, but I think the Bulls will pick it up. When Michael Jordan scores 23 points, he needs the rest from
all right, don't forget that Game 5 of the NBA Finals, the Bulls and the Sonics from Seattle, will be Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time as the Bulls once again look to close out the Sonics. Doesn't loom as such an easy task after tonight. For our entire NBC crew, I'm Bob Costas. See you on Friday night.
The NBA Finals, the U.S. Open, Wimbledon, the U.S. Olympic Trials, the U.S. Senior Open, baseball's All-Star Game, and the Olympic Games in Atlanta. The great events are all on America's sports leader, NBC.
I'm John Snyder. You have been watching post-game coverage from NBC Sports as Seattle stays alive in the NBA's title series with a win over Chicago. In the news, an end to the Freeman standoff may be near. A young girl has left the Freeman compound in Montana. FBI source
realized this team won 6 of 4 games, so for us to come in here and totally dominate them and win 4 straight games, it's really stretching it. But I think, as you said, everything went wrong, and we tried to get ourselves back in. Every now and then we get it to 13 and never really could catch a break. So just put this down as a bad game and look forward to Friday.
Michael, were you as frustrated as you looked out there tonight? I mean, was it that frustrating?
I was very frustrated, but I think we all were. We expected to play better, and we wanted to play better, and we didn't play better. We couldn't get something to turn the momentum our way. We couldn't get a call to go our way where we could, ride upon, and it became a frustrating afternoon. And no one said we weren't going to have frustrating afternoons. So let's try to limit this to 1. This team's got to beat us three more times. We realize that, and we're not saying they're not capable of it, but we feel very confident that we can bounce back from this. I mean, the defense was very active. You got to give them that credit, but a lot of it had to do with the way we prepare ourselves for the game and the way we played in the game. You have to respect this team no matter how you look at it, and we just didn't come out with the same type of intensity, and things just didn't click for us. And if you want to give their defense some credit, I think they truly deserve it, without a doubt.
Michael, does the fact that you guys came out and couldn't close the series out tarnish all this talk about this being the greatest team of all time?
I don't know. That's for you guys to decide. I mean, we never decided to give ourselves the best team in the history of the game, labeled from day one. I think we lost the game, and what we have to do is bounce back and win one more game. Now, where we stand in history, and if we're determined to be or defined to be the best team in history, it's not our decision in that situation. And I think we have to realize that and not fall prey to those comments that we are the greatest team in the history of basketball. We never determine that. We just play the game, and you guys determine what that whole facet.
Michael, you said before the game that you were as relaxed or even more relaxed going in than any final you've been in before. You too relaxed?
Me personally? No, I don't think so. I think I anticipate them to come out with a strong beginning. I just didn't anticipate, the way we played. And sometimes you can anticipate that. I think in these pressure situations, you try to maintain a certain poise and a certain relaxed attitude. And then when you step on the basketball court, you hope that trends into, a better basketball game than what we played today. I don't consider myself to be too relaxed. I felt really good about, our chances today. I didn't shoot the ball well. None of us shot the ball well.
So we just chalk it up as an experience and move forward. But I can't really say that my preparation was any different than Game 3 or Game 2 or Game 1. I mean, we knew what we had to do, and we didn't go out and do it, from the double teams to, offensive execution. I mean, so, that all begins with preparation before the game even starts, and mentally get yourself prepared to play the game. And it's very evident that we was not into the game the way we should have been.
What was the most important factor in their improved offense, and how important was Nate McMillan's contribution?
I think he was a very emotional lift for them, confidence lifter. He came in and gave them some real good minutes. I'm pretty sure he was going through some pain or whatever, and I think that shows the class and the determination of Nate McMillan. He's an ACC guy, so I understand that. But I think they shot the ball particularly well. You got to give them that credit. They shot the ball. They beat the shot clock. Sam hit a shot that was truly amazing with the shot clock running down, and I think it signified that that's where the day was going to be for them. And looking back at it, I mean, it seemed to be that way. And they shot the ball extremely well. Peyton came out and got going very quickly, and he received some confidence. And then when Nate came in, they worked the two-man game very well with Gary coming off the screen and roll. You got to give him the credit.
Michael, how does a game like this motivate you for Friday?
How does it motivate me personally or the team? I knew we have to come back and play better than what we played today. Chalk this up for them. They came out ready to play, and they seem very defiant today. Let's see if they can continue to maintain that, starting Friday. And I guarantee we'll come out and play better on Friday. And if they beat us again, they're going to play a better basketball game than we did. But, I can't really think of anyone other than Randy Brown who really came in and played the type of basketball we're capable of playing. Randy played extremely well for us today, and he gave us a big lift. And, we just really didn't shoot the ball particularly well.
Okay, last question for Michael.
Excuse me? No, we've been very prosperous with Scotty shooting threes. It opens up the court, extends the court, it opens up his game. So by no means do you want to contain or shrink his game. I think he should continue to shoot the ball with confidence, as well as Steve Kerr, other players on the team, so that we find something that works. We're not going to stop what we've been doing just because we lost one game. This team is bigger than that. We're more competitive than that. We have a lot more class and determination. We got to this point because of our hard work. And along that road of 82 games, we lost a game like this somewhere along that road, but we've always bounced back. And I believe in my team that we can bounce back, and we look forward for that to happen on Friday.
So, 23 points for Michael Jordan, but also a double dribble call, flagrant foul, and technical foul. You can be sure he's looking to turn that situation around on Friday. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back, everybody in Chicago. Hold the parade plans. The Sonics win Game 4 in Seattle. Here's a look at the numbers. The Sonics win 107-86. The Bulls, 18 turnovers, shot 40%, were 6 of 24 from three-point range, and their regularly dominating defense also struggled as Seattle shot 56%, including 9 of